Now, what is the correct way to pronounce your stage name?
Sorry. It's Buddy Vonn. Yep, Vonn.
Do people mispronounce this?
A lot of people call me Buddy Love, and a lot of people call me Bunny Vaughn. But yeah, it's Buddy, Buddy.
Now, do you accept any of those nicknames or anything of that sort that you hear, or
Yeah, it's okay. Like I just accept it. I don't take it offensive or anything.
now, what about the spelling of the stage name? Do people misspell it?
Yes, and a lot of people misspell it because I used to spell Vaughn different. So my grandmother was a singer back in the day, and her name was Shirley Vaughn, and she spelled it Vaughn, and that's how I used to spell it. But then I Googled myself, and an African folk singer came up, and he had my exact name, so I just changed the spelling, and that's why it's Vonn.
Now, why two N's for you?
I just think it's cooler. I just thought it looked a lot better.
Now, when it comes to people mispronouncing your name or adding some things on to it, as you described, or misspelling, what do you notice people do overall speaking when it comes to this stage name of yours?
They just forget the two N's, really. That's really the main thing that they do.
Now, speaking of people adding stuff to your name, do you accept any abbreviations of this stage name of yours, perhaps?
Um,
Something short you're okay with being called instead.
yeah, Buddy V is cute. I think that's really cute. But I think that's a name of like a cake maker too.
Now, when it comes to this stage name of yours, do you have a preference between that abbreviation or your full stage name?
um, Honestly, it really doesn't matter, but a lot of people just call me Buddy for short.
And are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, for those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time,
Mhm.
care to share your screen name on Instagram?
It is at BUDDYVONN, and that's also on all platforms.
Now, on IG in particular, in this bio of yours, wanted to see if you could break down these phrases. Bud in bold.
So I came up with that solely because I just see myself as like a really strong individual. So I feel like I stand out in the crowd, and I feel like I'm just a really strong woman overall as an artist. Any type of craft I do, I feel like I stand out and I'm pretty dominant. So that's where Bud and Bold came from.
And is that a nickname of yours as well? Do you consider that a nickname?
You know, some people don't really call me that. I've had people call me Bud and Bold before, but they kind of do it in like a joking manner. But not a lot of people call me that, no.
And as far as you know, the relation to your uh, family member
Mhm.
that you kind of, you know, base this name off of, that's the only person in the music industry you're biologically related to at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no relation with King Von.
No. No.
Do
I
people
get
ever?
that a lot.
Okay, they do.
Yes, I
That
do.
happens to you as well.
Yes, it does a lot. Pretty often.
Now, is that just fans and listeners or people getting to know you, or has maybe people on behalf of King Von's camp said
So
anything to you?
sometimes, not anybody specifically from his camp, more so his fans. And like some people ask me, like, oh, are you related to him and yada yada yada? Because I remember like probably a year and a half before he passed away, I was in the club and I was listening to Crazy Story because that's one of my favorite club songs. And I posted it and tagged him, and he reposted me. So that also got people thinking like, "Oh my God, blah blah blah." But I was like, "No, we're not related at all."
But that's as far as it went social media with him at the time. There was
Yeah.
no direct messages between you two or anything of that
No.
nature.
Nope.
And at that time, was it VONN for you, or was it Vaughn spelled out as you mentioned before?
That was a VONN. That's when I like just had changed it to that spelling too.
Now, when it comes to the abbreviation Buddy, which you mentioned some people just refer to you as, is this a unisex name?
Yeah, so I actually got the name from singers back in the day. So years ago, my Instagram had got deleted, and I was listening to Buddy Holly by Weezer because that's one of my favorite like bands or whatever. And I just started calling myself Buddy Holly on Instagram because that's what I was listening to. But then as time went on and I got serious about my music, I looked up Buddy Holly, and he was actually a singer back in the 40s. So of course that couldn't be my name because you know that was him. So I dropped the Holly and then I added the Vaughn, which is my grandma's last name, and that's how I came up with Buddy Vaughn.
And this grandmother of yours, mother side or father side for you?
Father.
Now, have you experienced any issues with this unisex name?
Yeah, a lot of people think I'm a guy. Absolutely.
And how often does that happen?
It happens. It used to happen a lot. Like before I got more recognition for my craft, a lot of people thought I was a guy for sure.
Now, what's been the biggest blunder or the worst experience you've had using that name?
Um, Honestly, people just always think I'm a guy or I'm a rapper or something. Like that's pretty much it. I haven't came across any crazy experiences, not really.
And no disrespect to this next question, but just for the record, care to share the gender you are?
I'm a female.
Now, have you ever met another female with the name Buddy? You've already mentioned males that have that name, but have you ever met another female with that name?
Um, I've met women that have similar names, but not Buddy. Like not a lot of girls, no.
And because of that misconception there, or misunderstanding, or however way you want to phrase it, any regrets with calling yourself Buddy?
No, I love it.
Now, this grandmother that you're referencing,
Mhm.
let's circle back around to that. Is she still in your life today?
No, she passed away last year. Yeah, that was my best friend.
Now, what was her response to your stage name?
She cried. She was happy. She was really happy because my grandmother went through a lot when she was in the industry because she was signed to Columbia Records. And yeah, that was my girl. But she was really, really happy. She was my biggest supporter. We had the same birthday and everything. Like, that was my best friend.
And care to share your birthday as well at this point while you mentioned it?
Yes, May 30th, 1999.
And how did you break the news or tell her that you were taking on her name with your stage name?
Um, I sent her a flyer to one of my shows and it had my name in like really big letters. And she was like, oh, darling. And I was like, oh, mom. It was so sweet what I told her.
Now, what was she really like?
Oh, wow. She honestly was like my angel in human form. I'm not gonna lie. Like she was amazing. She was my soulmate as like a grandma. Like she really was the best thing that ever happened to me. And she's one of the main reasons why I still do music. Because sometimes, you have your low points, even with something that you love. But when she passed away, I had told her, I was like, yeah, I'm not stopping now. Like I have no choice but to keep going now.
Do you remember the last correspondence you had with her?
Yeah, we were on the phone. So it was she died January 12th, 2024, and we were on the phone actually like January 8th. And I had just came back from Columbus and I was telling her how work was getting on my nerves and how I was going to see her on Friday. And then yep, she ended up passing away and yep, that was the worst day of my life. Yeah.
How were you notified?
So I came home and it was a rainy day and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me, but like when it rains and you feel like some type of eerie feeling. I got home and my dad was upset, and my dad's not a sad person. So I got home and I was like, "Well, mommy, what's wrong with dad?" And she was like, "Your grandmother's in the hospital and she's not breathing." Now, mind you, she had asthma, so I'm thinking she was just having an asthma attack. So they went to the hospital, and at first I was gonna stay home, but something told me like, no, like go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and yeah, I saw her in that room, and yeah, they were doing like CPR and stuff. Like she was like a full code. They were doing everything they could, and at first they were telling me she was okay, but I mean, when I'm not doing my music stuff, I'm an STNA, so like I know, and I've been in that medical field for a minute. And I knew she wasn't okay. Of course, I didn't want to accept it, but then I went in the room with my mom, my dad, my sister, and her private aide at the time. And they came in the room and they told us she passed away. And yeah, they brought her body in there and we all broke down. Yeah. Yeah. That was a tough day.
Now, you mentioned previously you had some medical field experience. Can you share that or shed some light on that?
Yeah, so I'm 25. I started working as a residence aide when I was 19 years old. And when I turned 21, I decided to get my STNA license because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. So, CNA and STNA are the same thing. I just think, and I could be wrong, but CNA school is a little bit longer than STNA school. So I went to school for a couple of weeks. I took a state test, and now I'm a licensed aide. And yeah, that's what I like to do other than my music. I like taking care of people.
Was that, and respectfully asking you
Mhm.
this, was that the first time you've seen somebody passed away in front of you?
No, it wasn't. That and even though it is a sad thing, I'm happy I had the experience because I was somewhat prepared because I know the stages like so. But yeah, it was definitely hard though, of course, because it was her. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people pass, so yeah, could have been worse.
Now, do you have a favorite memory of her you'd like to share with the audience today?
I have so many. Um, oh my gosh, I think my favorite memory is when, like I said, me and her have the same birthday, and every year we used to go to Olive Garden because that was her favorite restaurant. But this year we decided not to. I mean, that year we decided not to, and we had a cookout at the house, and everybody was there, and everybody sang us happy birthday, and she was just so happy. And another memory is for Christmas, I asked her what she wanted for Christmas, and she told me she just wanted gloves, a scarf, and a hat, like just like a matching set. And I got it for her, and she loved it. And I took a picture of her in it, and she was like so happy. She was smiling so hard. So yeah.
Now, what's the best advice you received from her, or most important thing you learned being around her?
So the best advice I received from her is you got to walk with your chin up, keep your head held up high, and you got to put your foot down. Like especially being a woman in the industry, it's like very very hard for us, especially Black women. And she told me that she went through a lot of trials and tribulations because my grandmother loved to sing, but she didn't like the aspect of the things that came with it. Like she said, she didn't really like traveling too much, but my grandma was very introverted. She was like a loner. Um, but yeah, she really taught me that you can't let anybody like bully you. You can't let anybody disrespect you. Like it doesn't matter. Like if you have opportunity and somebody's trying to take it away from you, it's always gonna come back again because you're blessed. And that's what she taught me. And that's one of the most important things she ever has told me. It really stuck with me, especially when she passed. Because after she passed, mentally I went downhill. I went through a lot of stuff, whether it was like relationships, whether they were platonic, friendships, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I went through a lot. So I'm very happy that she's not my guardian angel.
Now, speaking of mentally here,
Hmm.
have you sought any professional help dealing with the passing such as this?
I have. I definitely went to therapy. Um, and I have really, really good friends. My friends really listen to me, and my parents are amazing, and my sister. So I'm surrounded by a lot of love and support. Like when it comes to my team, my friends, like everybody's really, really supportive, and I'm really blessed because not a lot of people have that. So yeah, I really didn't get over it. I don't think I'm ever gonna be over it, but I didn't really fully get better at it probably till this year. I kind of just accepted the fact that she's not here, but I think about her every single day. Like my rings, all these rings are hers, every single one of them.
And what does that feel like wearing those rings?
I feel like I'm her. Like I had showed my dad because I have her tatted on my wrist, her name, and I showed my dad the tattoo, and he was like, "Your hands look just like my mom's," and I was like, "Don't make me cry right now."
Now, when it came to therapy for you, was that something you do on your own accord, or, for lack of a better phrase, were you forced into that?
um, I did it on my accord. Now, the one thing I like about the people that are with me and the people that surround me is that they're very honest with me and they're very straightforward. So like they'll tell me like, hey, like if you don't want to talk to me or X, Y, and Z, you definitely should go to therapy because I do have a personal therapist and she's actually based in Atlanta, Georgia. So and she's a woman, she's a Black woman, and she's amazing. Shout out to Karen.
Now, this therapist, did you have her prior to your grandmother's passing, or was this something you get after her passing?
I had her prior. I actually met her in 2023, and she's an amazing woman. She's very into spirituality a lot, and I feel like that's very like calming. She got me into that more. I was into it, and my grandma also was. which I learned more after she passed away. But yeah, I go to her when I need her. She's always there.
Now, there are some that experience a passing of this nature and don't go the mental health professional route.
Yeah.
What do you say to those that don't go that route?
There's nothing wrong with it. I feel like a lot of people think that if you go to therapy, like you're crazy or there's something wrong with you, or it's not. Like, it's really not. It helps to let it out and to loosen up solely because, like, a lot of people's problems sometimes don't go from a passing of a level and it can come from, like, their childhood or, like, something that happened to them or work or something like that. I feel like there's nothing wrong with therapy. If a lot of people got it, a lot of people would be a lot better.
And when it comes to a therapist such as the one that you're currently seeing, was this the only one you've seen in your life, or have you seen others?
I've seen others. I had one when I was a kid, when I was like middle school. Um, and then I had one, yeah, I had one when I was a kid. And then I had one like around the time I had graduated high school. So I was like 17, 18 years old. But those were like through my insurance. Now, this one I'm saying she's like private, but she's a lot better in my opinion.
And was that also something you sought out? Someone as the same gender as you, someone as the same race as you in that professional experience?
Yeah, because I'm usually not picky, but at the same time, like I feel like a lot of us don't have the same struggles. Like, and I just wanted somebody that could really see where I was coming from, and she really did.
Was this the first time you actually picked the gender, picked the race that matched you and things of that nature?
So I actually got her from one of my old friends. So she recommended her to me, and then we did like a consultation, like getting to know each other, and we did like a virtual meeting, and it went amazing. Yeah.
And when it comes to the music side of things, okay, how did that work? Because obviously your grandmother was already in the music industry, music business, already had a career prior to you.
Yeah.
Were you inspired to do music after laying your eyes upon her and knowing who she was, or were you doing music and then you find out the history of your grandmother and things of that nature? How did that unfold?
So I have been singing my whole life, like literally since I was 4 years old. And I always knew she was a singer, but I didn't realize the extent until I was like probably 16. I didn't know that she was signed to Columbia. I didn't know she toured with the Supremes and was with the OJs and stuff. I didn't know that. Like I knew she was a singer, but when she was showing me pictures and then in the corner it says like Columbia Records or Motown Records and stuff like that, like that's when I was like, oh my God, like you're doing basically, you did what I want to do basically.
So, as you were singing since 4, what was her role in your career? Did she just kind of just observe it? Was she consulting you, advising you at one point? Did she play an actual position, like some sort of assistant or manager or something of that nature? How
No, she was just like my biggest supporter. Like everything I did, like she was like my number one fan, front row seat, signs. At my graduation, like at my graduation, her and my family printed out pictures of my face and put them on like sticks and was like waiting for them at my graduation. But she was just always my biggest supporter. She would give me advice, but no, she was never like she never had like a set position.
and aside from the advice, did you two ever get a chance to collaborate in some form of
We
nature?
actually did when I was younger, and it never came out because my dad also like he used to produce, and he used to put my vocals on a song and her vocals, so it never like dropped. But we did that before. Yeah, I was super young though. I think I was like 14 when that happened.
Why didn't that ever see the light of day, even way back when?
I think I sounded terrible. I think that's what it was. I didn't sound terrible, but I definitely didn't sound how I do now.
Just curious there. All right. Well, was there any talk of music between you two at some point after that, even in your most recent stages?
Um, I think I want to sample one of her songs for sure. Like absolutely. She has one song, it's actually on YouTube. It's called Stop and Listen. And that's my favorite song by her and I definitely want to sample that song.
Now, I asked you a lot of questions about your grandmother here. Is there anything else you want to say on that subject of just her?
Um, but when my parents watch this, y'all know how much I miss grandma. I love you, grandma. I wish you were here.